Hello, everybody.
What up? What up? What up?
My name is Tim Daniel. His name is Ben Brown, and welcome to tonight's edition of Late Night Reds, brought to you by the Riverfront, part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network. And Ben is so dedicated tonight that he is in a hotel in Columbus, Ohio, and still was like, man, I can't miss the show. So, Ben, I certainly appreciate your dedication. I'll make sure I tell Chad and Nate that you deserve a pay raise this quarter for sticking out with us. But excited for today's show. So we're going to be continuing our position by position series, and today we're going to the bullpen. Going to talk a little bit of relievers. Obviously, if you were tuned in last week, you're well aware that Ben and I are very opposed, very much paying attention to a certain football game tomorrow night in Atlanta, Georgia, that we're both very excited for on each side of the wheel. But I think we're both also in agreement with that. No matter the result, I think we're kind of content with how it goes. Obviously, we want our
Absolutely.
teams to win, but it could be cool. Real quick, I do want to thank Chad Dotson for letting me post my awesome my piece today on how I became a Notre Dame football fan and how I could post past stuff from my grandpa to my dad to me, which is probably the story you hear of all the Notre Dame fans my age. So really want to
I,
make sure I give it thanks
side
for that.
side note of that side note of that article was incredible. Um, as we were sitting in between games, I got a chance to read it. I'm up here in Columbus watching my daughter play. So incredible article. Your history of how your granddad and your dad and how you guys that's pretty cool stuff, man. That's awesome stuff.
Yeah, I feel like that's the only way you could be a Notre Dame fan at my age. And you
Hmm.
know what? You know what topped it off for me before we get into Reds talk here is I got to use a clip of Ned Beatty, and that's
Yeah,
just shout out Ned Beatty, the legend.
yeah, absolutely.
So Ben, I do want to get into the bullpen today, and I also kind of will have a fun questionnaire at the end. The chat is already hopping. Everyone is ready for baseball season. Joey Gaditsis in the chat today talking baseball with us, but his Commanders are in the NFC Championship, so I don't
Oh
know.
man, I know.
There's no way he's shifted to baseball gear yet. There's no way. So
Oh no, no, no. He's still locked in. He's
yeah,
still locked in.
yeah, that was awesome. Good for the Commanders. Shout out for you Washington football team faithful for finally having something to be excited about. This is great for you guys. I hope nothing but the best for you moving forward.
Uh, you know what? It's there's nothing worse than, and I'm happy for the Commanders. There's nothing worse than when they show old clips of like, "Hey, Dad, who should you draft?" The guy's like, kid's like, "Hey, Jaden Daniels is going to be really good." Blah, blah, blah. He's like, kid, that was like, and here we are, Giants once again 4-13 or whatever we finished, and Jane Daniels is dancing into the NFC Championship.
On top
Go
of
Giants.
Saquon Barkley's on the other team.
Yeah, and Saquon Barkley's playing on the other side. Go Giants.
Hey, at least you have Ohio State, so there's
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Yeah, but hey, let's get into it real quick. So, obviously, like I said, if you didn't get to tune in last week, we've been starting to do our position by position breakdown to get ready for the season. Last week we broke down the starting rotation. If you go back to this to that as well, so we're just going to go now to the bullpen. And if you have questions throughout the conference, throughout the chat tonight, please send them our way. Shout out Carrie. I haven't seen Carrie in a little while since we were on our hiatus, and she's got some really good points in there. I can't wait to get to.
Cool.
I love this. This cracked me up. She called the LA Dodgers the credit card team. Buy now, pay later. And that's
Man.
100% true because they're deferring all those salaries. So we're going to get into a Dodgers conversation at the end of the Reds talk as well. But I
Yeah.
want to start here. So Fangraph did do their Reds reliever bullpen predictions for the year. And there's a couple names on here I want to look at, and not in the sense of guys that we knew, like, Alexis Diaz, Emilio Pagan, Sam Maul, Prince Suter. We knew those guys would pop up.
Hmm.
One, Fangraphs has a prediction of TJ Antone to pitch in 2025. I don't know how
Hmm.
confident I would be in that. They do have Graham Ashcraft in the bullpen, which we'll get into that conversation here in a bit as well. They have Nick Martinez pitching 21 innings of relief this year. So we're going to talk about that. And then, of course, our man from Arizona Fall League, the up and comer, Luis May, getting his name into the
Hmm.
conversation. So Ben, big picture, realistically, for majority of the year last year, I think you can make the case the bullpen was pretty solid, especially with all the injuries they had and everything they went through.
Mhm.
The one thing I'm really looking forward to in 2025, my bullpen goal in 2025 that I have no control over is I want to end the revolving door. And what I mean by the revolving door is, look, you're always going to have relief pitcher injuries. It is what it is. Um,
Mhm.
Look at this, Pat. He may be good. I like that. That's solid. That's um, and so the Reds did this thing last year, and I think it was about 8 or 9 days straight, if I remember correctly. Sid's not here to correct me if to keep me honest on this one, but where they would call a guy up, he'd pitch an inning, they'd DFA him the next day. They call a guy up, he'd pitch an inning, they'd DFA
Yeah.
him the next day. So this revolving door, hopefully with Francona, a guy who's done really, really well managing a bullpen through majority of his career. I mean, he had great Boston bullpens, he had great Cleveland bullpens. He always found a way to get the most out of those guys. Part of the reason why Brian Shaw is probably signed, which we are not ones who think Brian Shaw is going to be on the big league roster. But
Right.
my hope is that this is the year we don't have this like revolving door, and we're going to obviously have guys that come up and come down, especially if they struggle. But I don't want to go through this DFA cycle anymore.
Yeah, it's really frustrating when you have to do that as a big league roster. Um, the biggest thing about a bullpen is consistency, right? Having guys that can come in, day out, and do the job. So it's really difficult to get that kind of consistency when you bring a guy up, like you said, bring a guy up, he pitches an inning, you DFA him. You bring a guy up, like you don't have any kind of consistency. Now, injuries and things play into that and things like that, which are fine. That stuff happens.
Absolutely.
But you also have to be prepared for that. I feel like we were poorly prepared for things to not go the way we thought they would go. We should have a set of guys when we're talking about relievers. You should have a set of guys that you depend on to give you innings and not have to go in and out and always have to go back and back and back and forth and bring guys and DFAs. And you can't get any consistency that way. And the bullpen, for the most part, battled that all year.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, look at that. We got a lively chat tonight. Mr. Juan in the house. What up, Mr. Juan? Dave's got some good comments. Man, you guys are killing it today with a lot of stuff to talk about. So, all right, let's get to the first question. And Ben, let's talk about who's going to be relied on the most out of this bullpen in 2025. Who do you see kind of being the guy who's going to be the most setting pitch on this season? And I showed some pictures of guys here, which very well could be someone who's not on this if you have to, but I have
Hmm.
the options I have here are Sam Moll, Tony Santillan, Alexis Diaz, Emilio Pagan, and Brent Suter. Um, Obviously, there's other options there, but I feel like one of those five is the most likely of the group.
Hmm.
Um, and I tell you what, I'm probably going a little crazy here. Maybe I'm
Hmm.
a little wrong here. I feel like this is going to be a good Emilio Pagan year because
Man, I
last
was
year,
gonna say that. That's
yeah,
exactly what I was gonna say. Yep.
last year he battled.
Yep.
He was on the IL a lot, and I know a lot of people were really nervous about the signing because of his tendencies to give up home runs. But I didn't think he was really
Hmm.
bad. I really thought that
No.
he had some moments. So I really do think that Emilio Pagan is probably going to have a really good year, and I'm really excited about Sam Ball this year. I thought he was
Yeah.
really good last year.
Yeah, those are my two guys. That's exactly who I was going to say. Pagan because the stuff is there. When he was healthy, he was really good. And when we got Sam Moll back, you could tell it was a boost to our bullpen by leaps and bounds to be able to bring him in certain situations. So I think it'll be between those two. It's so silly. Um, but yeah, those were my two picks, especially Sam Moll. I think Sam Moll has stuff to where he can give you a good two and a third, 3 innings of good solid baseball to get you through if you have a bad start or you're trying to get to your closer or whatever you want to say. And yeah, Sam Moll's stuff is really cool because it's not overpowering. It's just he's just a really good pitcher's
Smooth.
pitcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's smooth. He puts balls in play on the ground. He has command of the strike zone. He just does things the right way. So yeah, those would be my two picks for sure.
Yeah. And remember, the other thing about Sam Ball that was really nice too was he was literally horribly mismanaged last year. I mean, he was sent down to AAA at one point,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
which was
Yep. Yep.
very
Yep.
stupid, and
Yeah.
ended up coming back and still being really, really good and wasn't pissed off at the world. So
Yeah.
kudos to him for that. So yeah, I like both those guys a lot. I know the Alexis Diaz thing. It's hard for a closer
Closer. Mm-hmm.
to throw enough innings to lead your. You probably don't want that realistically, unless like your starters are going.
That's probably the worst. That's probably the worst thing that could happen
Yeah,
if
unless your
that
starters are
guy's to
going
at least
7
your
every night, right?
yeah yeah yeah. Unless your starters are going 7, then you don't want Alexis Diaz leading your bullpen and innings.
Yeah. Carry here. Still time for trades. Maybe Diaz and the Mets for Diaz do, then flip that trade for an outfield hitter. Carrie, they don't think like that.
Yeah, what
So
can I say?
I would love it.
That's very progressive thinking. That's very
Yeah,
progressive thinking, and you know
it
who
is.
you cheer for.
Yeah, Dave was talking about he went to Caravan today in Dayton, got some Stuart Fairchild starting left fielder autos today. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, I like this, Mr. Juan. I think this is really nice. That's like a Tampa Bay Rays like specialty. I think Graham Ashcraft, which should be an excellent opener. I didn't even
Hmm.
think about that conversation.
Yeah.
We might have to have that one. I might have to add that to the show. Um, all right. So we talked about him last week as a starter. We know what he was signed to do. This is a guy who has obviously made quite a career of going back and forth between the rotation and the pen. Has been very successful. Was the September National League Pitcher of the Month, Nick Martinez. So
Hmm.
Ben, as this team rolls on through 2025, we know all this how this starting rotation looks. We know Nick Martinez factors into the game plans for this season. He did pick up his qualifying offer. He does want to come
Hmm.
back and play for Terry Francona. He was very, very good, after the All-Star break for this team. Had really good stretches. You remember he was like the long guy when they would have bullpen
Oh
day. That
yeah.
would he would be awesome.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
do you see Nick Martinez making more appearances next season as a starter or a reliever?
um. Gosh, my heart tells me starter, but my brain tells me reliever. And here's why. Um, he's one of those guys. He's a Sam Moll type guy, right? So he's a guy that's going to give you good quality innings. He's a guy that can pitch in any type of situation, whether you got bases loaded, whether you got 2 on 2 out, whether you've got first and third, whether you're trying to get out of an inning or you're trying to get a ground ball double play. He pitches to situations so well
He
that
does.
he's a really good reliever. But he also could give you 6 and 6 and a third of solid starting pitching. But I think our starting rotation hope well, I'll say this. I hope our starting rotation is good enough that we could use Nick Martinez in the bullpen. So if you have Green, you have Louder, you have Lodolo, you have who we just signed. It's
Brady
it's
Singer.
it's escaping me. Singer, yeah, yeah. So we have all these guys that are start. If we have these guys that are starters, and you can use a Nick Martinez and a Sam Moll and a Brent Suter, and all these guys in the bullpen, and solidify that bullpen as of guys that can give you quality in game innings, then I would say Martinez will give you more innings in the bullpen.
I think so too. And this is not anything to say in a good way or a bad way, because I do think
Yeah,
that
yeah. Hmm.
having that ability to kind of pick up where thing like, if there is, God forbid, an injury to the rotation, you can throw him in
Hmm.
there. But and I do think he's definitely going to start games. I for sure think he's going to start games.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
but I think for this team, that's probably where he's better suited. You don't have to stretch him
Hmm.
out as much. Having him as the capability to throw an inning every couple days or so instead
Hmm.
of every fifth day, um, it's definitely going to be something that's going to be really valuable to this team. But I really like him, and I think my favorite thing about him is you kind of mentioned he's like the right-handed Sam Ball type.
Hmm.
He's really fearless, and this is the
Yeah.
guy like you get it right. Like he pitched in Japan and had to come back to the big leagues.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, Josh, I completely agree. I would love to see Rhett Ladder in the rotation over Nick Martinez, 1,000%.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ben and
Yeah.
I are big Rhett Louder guys. We have not shied away from that, and we
No,
will
not at
not shy
all.
away from that.
Mm-mm.
So I'm glad he came back. I'm really happy he picked up the offer. I'm glad that he's going to be a part of this team, and I think it's going to be really awesome to see what he does for
Mm-hmm.
this team as well. All right,
Yeah, I agree.
brings me to something that I can't believe hasn't happened yet, but we got to have a deep conversation about this. This is a legitimate convo here. Are you ready for this deep
Okay.
convo? All right.
Absolutely.
Does Buck Farmer end up back with the Reds this year? Because he is a free agent, Ben. Buck Farmer is a free agent, has not signed
Ooh.
a contract with anybody. And part of me is laughing and joking about this. Part of me is kind of like asking this legitimate question because
Yeah, yeah.
realistically,
He was pretty good at the
he
end
was
of the
pretty
year
good
last
last
year.
year. He
Yeah, he
was pretty
was.
solid. We talked a lot about like his baseball card numbers weren't the sexiest, but his advanced statistics were really nice. His baseball savant page looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, and he's a guy out there still waiting for a phone call. This is a team who doesn't have a whole lot set in stone right now as far as what their bullpen's going to look like. Yeah, Josh, for sure. He wasn't trash. He was pretty bad for a couple of years there. Don't get me wrong, but last year he
Mm-hmm.
was pretty solid. I hear he's a genuinely really nice guy. I've never met him, but all the reports seems like he's pretty cool. And this is such a Nick Kroll move, right? This is such a
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah, such a like. Oh, he hasn't signed with anybody. What's he need? 2.1.
Yep.
Let's
Yep.
do it.
Let's do it. Yeah. I think for what he's worth, as far as contract wise, I can't say no. I mean, I don't think I don't think that's a move where you bring him in and it hurts you. Because the worst case scenario, he's terrible, right? And we eat that money or whatever the case
Yeah,
may be or however that works. But he was a guy that was actually, like you said, he was not bad last year. Now,
no,
like you said, his stats on paper didn't look great, but if you look at everything else, as far as like you said, his advanced statistics, all that stuff looked really good. And in key moments, he was not bad for us. He wasn't a guy where you were like, oh man, daggone Buck Farmer's coming in the game like the previous 2 years.
right. Yeah,
He, you know what I mean? Like he was not bad at all, and did a decent job. So I think for the money that he's worth, or the money that his contract would be, I don't think it hurts you. And on top of that too, like you bring up a great point. It's not like the Reds bullpen has anything set in stone. Like it's not like you can't be like, okay, I want to take a flyer on a guy that's been in our organization, who knows the way we do things, blah blah blah, and have him here. I mean, because by now he's a clubhouse guy, he's a clubhouse leader. What does it hurt bringing him back?
yeah, I agree. So I would want to go back to the first slide here because I want to kind of make mention. If you talk about this, like, let's be realistic here. If you're going through this list right now, you
Hmm.
trust him. Let's just go from the bottom up. You trust him more than
Okay.
Busenitz, right? Probably.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
you you don't know what you're going to get from Antone. You don't know what you're
Correct.
going to get from San Martin. We talked about Nick
Yeah.
Martinez going back and forth. I trust him more than I trust Lyon Richardson, though I do think Richardson has a higher ceiling.
Yep.
Here's where it's like interesting for me. So, what do the factors Owen White have into the bullpen after the Reds got him for basically nothing from Texas? Um, what is Brian Shaw going to look like? You and I are kind of in the fence of like I have a hard time believing he makes the team.
Correct.
Um, Zach Maxwell, Carson Spires, I'm very up and down on them. What does Graham Ashcraft's future look like with the team? So, like, I'm comfortable if he's in this Ashcraft, Carson Spires, Luis May area of innings for this team.
Yeah.
But nothing more than that. I don't want him being the guy who leads the team in innings pitch and appearances again. I
Right.
don't want him to be a high leverage guy. And he was a high
Right.
leverage guy and was good at it last year. So I know I'm probably wrong, but there's something about him where I'm like, I don't know. I just don't.
Yeah. No, I no, like I don't want him to be top five in innings in our bullpen, but if he's like you said, if he's anywhere between 7 and 10, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I think that he fits there well. I think he fits in that spot well, where you can give him some innings and it not hurt.
Yeah. You know what's going to happen, though? He's going to end up signing with like the Cubs, it's going to be really good for them. It's going to be really, really
Mm-hmm.
frustrating.
Yeah,
I
and
was kind of,
they're going to sign him for pennies on the dollar too,
yeah.
and he's going to come in and just wreck shop.
Side note, you know who I'd be really willing to bring back? And I don't know what his situation is. I know he hasn't signed as of the other day. I have to check to see if he has signed with anyone. Maybe I should check before I went and made this segment here.
Oh
But
no, go ahead, let's go. Let's
I want Jeff Hoffman back. He was awesome last year, like
yeah.
legitimately really good for the Phillies. I think he made the All Star team.
I thought so.
Yeah, and I could be wrong, but I thought he was decent here. He wasn't awesome, but I don't know. So it was kind of an interesting one there, but I think he's still on the market. He had a really good time with the Phillies last year. Like him more than I like majority of the guys the Reds are going to be throwing out there in the bullpen this year.
Yeah,
Bring me Jeff Hoffman again.
yeah. That I think that would be. That's a guy that you bring in, and he helps solidify that bullpen by a lot. I mean, because he was really good. So,
Damn it, Josh. Damn it.
oh, he did sign with the Jays.
Boo!
Oh, I
Damn
don't
you,
like that.
Toronto.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I'm glad the
Well, you know
Raptors
who's up
suck.
there now. You know,
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, you know
true.
your boy's up there
That's
now.
true.
So I mean, he knew what he was getting. You know what I mean? He knew what
You're
he was
right.
getting.
Oh, yeah, I just
Got
looked
us
it up.
again. He
Yeah.
got us again.
Damn you, David Bell. Damn you.
Mm.
I must have missed that. So, all right. Well, let's just completely I can't go back and edit live podcasting. So,
We'll edit it
act
for the
like
morning. We'll be good.
that didn't happen.
Yep.
Yeah, Baltimore said Hoffman had arm issues and the Jays signed him. All right. Well, good luck in Toronto then.
Yeah.
This is kind of funny. Should Ellie race the Braves freeze at Bristol? Why doesn't the Braves freeze legitimately just like run out there and go, honey, where is my super suit?
I mean, I've been waiting for it ever since he started it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's technically copyright infringement. I mean, you are taking a gimmick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, come on. Like,
I know.
you think Disney's not gonna want to do something that makes them more money?
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're not messing with that.
Yeah. I was at Rally House the other day and I saw a Mickey Mouse Bengals sweatshirt and I was like, all right, we're
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure it was $212.
Probably. Yeah. They finally signed someone. Who is they, Pat? I need to hold on. Am I missing something? Did something go down? Oh, Papa John's is on the way. I ordered that for my wife. All right.
There you go.
I'm gonna just keep an update on that. I guess the Bulls are being the Blazers right now. If you're playing NBA Live 1992, that just popped up on my phone as well. All right. So we all know how I feel about this. I don't have to go into a deep dive. I hate the role. I hate the word closer. I think it's very stupid. It's a dumb quote unquote position. It doesn't make any sense. It's a waste of time. If you don't have Mariano Rivera, who gives a shit? So with that being said, people really care about this. People legitimately think I'm insane when I say this comment. But my comment once again is that I'm not denying that it doesn't take a special person to pitch in the ninth inning. I just think it's silly that every team just relies on one guy to do it. So with that being said, Alexis Diaz has been at the helm for 2 years of the closer, really kind of being the spiritual replacement for Aroldis Chapman for all those years because you kind of had a revolving door there. Remember Amir Garrett tried to be it and he was like, I'm going to be the closer. And it was like, oh, Amir, my dude, I don't think so, Chief.
You're not that guy, pal. You're not that
You're
guy.
not that guy. I wanted you to be because I love the swagger. But so as we know, Alexis Diaz had a very down then up year. I thought he was really, really good in August, September, but he was rough. Yes, Josh, this is what I'm getting at completely. Closer by committee is what I agree with. Like, don't spend $90 million. If you're so uptight about salary, don't spend $90 million on one guy to pitch 60 innings when you can have three guys do it. The 99 team, perfect example. Williamson, Sullivan, Graves. They all took care of business. But I digress. Okay, so realistically, Alexis Diaz at the helm for the last couple of years. Do you have a certain guy in mind that you could see maybe taking in that role from him, or do you think it'll be his role again?
I I don't see anybody taking it. But I'm kind of with you. Like we have so many. Yeah, the Nasty Boys is a good one. Um,
I don't
we
hate
have
those.
a yeah. I don't know. I think they're in such a spot with him being the closer that I think it's his to lose. I guess if that's correct to say. I don't know. I mean, last year, I mean, he was so brutal in those first couple months that
Yeah, he was.
it was yeah. I mean, it was terrible, and he was coming off an All Star year.
And going to
Um,
23, I mean, going back to 23, he struggled after the All-Star break too.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I would have somebody waiting in the wings, but I guess to start the season, I'd start with him and see how he does and go from there. But I don't know. That's a good question. Even though, like, I'm a closer by committee guy myself.
Yeah,
So if you go closer by committee, I'm okay with that. But if you want to designate him the closer, then you can.
yeah. But like, to further my argument, and this is probably contradicting myself, but like when you had to roll to Chapman, you
Oh
understood.
yeah,
You
yeah,
get it, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's not my
I
thing. Is
mean,
like, but now this day and age, it's stupid, man. Like,
I think I think that role of the closer, and there's a few guys that still are able to do it. But like, there's no more Dennis Eckersleys. There's no more. You know what I
Mariano
mean? Like,
Rivera, yeah,
yeah, Mariano Rivera's. I mean, there's those guys are kind of gone. I mean, guys that can come in and just shut the door are. I mean, outside of Edwin Diaz, who's pretty good. Um, there's who's the other one? I can't think of anything, but there's a couple guys that still do
but
it.
that's
But
my
like,
point.
yeah, yeah. But everybody else is like, I want to take the guy that fits the situation. Everybody's into numbers and advanced statistics and things like that. Like, which guys, when you're in a certain going up against a certain part of the lineup, which guys in your bullpen get those guys out the best. So you're going with matchups. It's almost like any other game. You got to go with the best matchups that's going to get you 3 outs in the ninth, not with just this guy because he's just this guy.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
So I'm gonna get a little hot takey here. I'm gonna get a little bold prediction-y,
All right, I like
which
it.
means it's not gonna happen. But like, I just want to have some fun. Mr. Juan brought up a guy particular earlier in the chat that I'm going to discuss here. I do think Alexis Diaz will begin this season as the guy that takes the ball in the ninth inning. I do think they should go closer by committee. I really do. But I think
Hold on,
Graham
if you're
Ashcraft.
Graham Ashcraft.
I think
So
Graham
hold on.
Ashcraft ends up being the guy.
Okay, so if you go closer by committee, who if you had to pick 3 guys closer by committee, who would you go with?
Ooh. Okay. So in that case, that's tough because I already said Graham Ashcraft, so you've backed me into a corner. And that's not fair.
But I'm okay with that. Graham Ashcraft is fine with me. I'm okay with that.
You're like, I don't know, dude. Like, you're supposed to like frustrate me tomorrow. Okay. Like today we're on the same page. Tomorrow's when we're enemies. Okay. Like,
I'm just trying to get your feel for it.
I like it. I mean, it's a great question. So realistically, in that case, I don't know if I could put Ashcraft in there, but I think, so I'd probably go, and this is spitballing at this point, but
Right,
because you
right.
have to have a lefty in there. You have to have a lefty. So
Yes.
I'm
Yep.
going Maul. I'm going
Yep.
Diaz.
Yep.
And I'm between Pagan and Ashcraft at that point. And Santillan's a great person. Pat mentioned there. Like, Santillan is a guy who certainly made a case when he got back with the big league roster.
Yep.
And I think could end up being really, really good for this team.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to stick with Pagan for now.
Yeah.
But also, I could really see Pagan being the long relief guy, where it's like, oh, the starter couldn't get through the third. Like, go out there and get 3 innings out. So,
Yeah. Yeah. But no, I'm with you on that. If because you have to look at it at a different perspective. Diaz and yeah, I
I
like
mean,
that.
that's very
That's a
likely
good one.
too.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. And I like yours, Tim. But I think that you had to think of it in a different way because, like we talked about, teams don't look at just closers and this guy's my closer. They don't they don't look at that way anymore. Well, a lot of teams don't look at it that way anymore.
Yeah.
It's usually a multitude of guys or different guys are getting saves here or there based on matchups. And I think
Yeah.
we do have 3 or 4 really good guys that can go out in the ninth inning and get us 3 outs, depending on the matchups.
I do too. Um, and I think what I'm kind of one of the things to kind of further my conversation there is that if you look at like when these Reds teams have been really, really awesome, these
Mm-hmm.
these like very few ones we've had in his like
Mm-hmm.
our in recent memory. So Kerry brought the Nasty Boys in 90. 99, I mentioned Diaz, Williams, and Sullivan. And 2012, Chapman was for sure the guy, obviously, but like Sean Marshall and Jonathan Broxton were awesome that year.
Broxton was really good that year. He
Yeah.
was
So
really
having
good.
having that kind of three-headed monster at the end of games was like really, really nice. And I don't think like during the Cordero days that they really had other guys in the bullpen, like maybe Micah Owings. I'm
Yeah.
actually, I know we got Chapman later on, but also a guy I think is all right. This is about to get more hot takey. I think Coco Cordero is better than he's given credit for in his Reds career. I think it was pretty solid, and we get like a lot of people just talk about him like he was just a nightmare.
Yeah. I would tend to agree with that. I thought he was pretty good when he was good, he was really good. I mean, he
Yeah.
was he was he was the best. Um Hold on. So what makes you think people crap on him?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, the closer's always the guy. Like, remember people hated Raisel Iglesias?
Yeah.
How's that going? Right? Like
Yeah.
he did have a
Yeah.
really horrible year one year. I'm not denying that. Was that 19?
Yeah.
He was awful. And then 2020 against the Braves in the playoffs, he was terrible. He was like incredible for the Braves last year.
Mhm.
But yeah, it seems like a lot of times when people bring up Cordero, it's like that guy. But I thought he was pretty. I mean, he went to the All Star game one year. He was like
I was gonna say,
really
wasn't he an all-star?
in the Bob and Phil era. He was really the first big free agent signing
Yeah.
because Josh Hamilton was a Rule 5 pick. Um, So I think that we should give Coco more flowers because, yeah, he did for sure lose his role. But 2009, if you go back and look at that, he was sick. He was
Yeah.
sick. And of all the Reds Community Fund baseball stadiums, he probably has the best one.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. It's really
Yeah.
good.
It's very pretty. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a solid take. No, that's pretty solid. I wouldn't say that's hot takey.
All
I
right.
think that's
So
pretty good.
in his tenure with the Reds, all right, guys, you got me on a tangent now. A career 296 ERA with the Reds. Pretty damn good.
Really?
Uh, yeah.
Wow.
Pitched in 283 games. He had 150 saves and 279 in the third innings with the Reds. Like, you can make the case that's Reds Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And
That's
we're like,
really good.
in like 2011, he wasn't very good, but he also tried to fight Gerald Laird after a Reds Cardinals Sunday game. So like that's fine with me. He like straight up like got a save, pointed the Cardinals dugout and started talking shit to Gerald Laird. And I was like, all right, this is my dog. I ride or die with Coco Cordero.
Yeah,
Now I
no,
do
that's
definitely
that's pretty
remember.
good.
I think when he went to Houston, he pitched against the Reds one time. They smoked him.
Yeah.
But that's either here or there. You know what used to really piss me off? All right, we're on a thing now. I've had bourbon. Sorry, guys. So you remember when like Aaron Harang was like done, like he just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
He had like 2 or 3 games against the Reds. It was like when he just like smoked them. I think like one with the
Yeah.
Padres. He was just awesome against them. And I'm like,
I was gonna say, I remember the one with the Padres. He was really good.
like what the hell?
Yeah.
Aaron Harang also should be in the Reds Hall of Fame. He for sure deserves it. I love Bronson. Aaron Harang should have been there before Bronson.
Yeah. Aaron Harang was really good. He's almost like one of those forgotten Reds. Like people forget
But
that how
shouldn't be,
how
you know what I mean? Like,
no, he shouldn't be. He should be a guy that the Reds lament. I mean, he should be like come back to the ball game, Aaron Harang day. Like he was pretty good.
whoa, you're all
Like,
about it.
oh yeah, because here's the thing, people don't realize like he was really good on some really bad teams. Like
Yeah, that's what Josh is saying right
he
here.
was pretty solid. Yeah, he
Orangutan,
was
man.
really good. Yeah, he was good on some bad teams.
And had the greatest poker face of all time. Had the same emotion
Yeah,
every day. Just
Mm-hmm. Yep.
like he could give up 5 runs in the second inning. He could have given up no
And
runs in 7 innings pitched. Same face.
yeah, it's not gonna matter.
No,
Not
no.
gonna matter.
Oh man, I that's something where like I really want to do like a fun breakdown of like guys who should be in the Reds Hall of Fame. And obviously, I think the Riverfront would probably fire me if I didn't say Reggie Sanders should be in the Reds Hall of Fame. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
He's
dude,
not in he's not in the Hall of Fame.
dude, you don't know about this?
No,
No, Reggie Sanders is not a Reds Hall of Famer.
Really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
buddy. If you talk to Chad about this, Chad will like give you. It's like the greatest. Like Chad's passion for Reggie Sanders being in the Reds Hall of Fame is second to none.
Wow. I didn't know he wasn't in.
Yeah, he followed me on Twitter like one time. That was pretty cool. I was like,
So that
Reggie.
is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, Josh, we actually got him for Jose Guillen, Aaron Harang. So,
Oh wow.
what's another weird ass Reds trade in history? Trading Juan Encarnacion for Ryan Dempster. That was a weird one.
Yep. Yeah, that was
Worked out really well for
yeah.
the Marlins. Didn't work out very well
Yes,
for the
it did.
Reds.
No,
He
did
goes to the
not.
Cubs and he's awesome. Seth and I
Yeah,
talked about
did
it the other day.
not did not work out well.
I think a lot of people do this thing where they talk about the Paul Konerko trade. Like, could you imagine if Paul Konerko stayed with the Reds? Are we sure he would have been the same guy?
Probably not.
Yeah. Like, don't be
Probably.
wrong. His White Sox tenure is awesome. He's a White Sox legend, won a
Yeah.
World Series there. Was awesome. Like, one of my favorite players to watch. I don't know if he does that here.
Yeah. I think. Well, you got to think about it. A lot of it is about who you're around,
Mm-hmm.
your team, how good your team is, who you're around, how good the organization is, how dedicated are they to winning. I mean, all that stuff plays into how well somebody's career goes. You know.
Yeah. This is a good one. Josh Hamilton for Reds Volquez was a bad trade and a great what if. I talked about this with Seth the other day because Volquez's first year, he was an all-star. He was
Mm-hmm.
like really, really good. And then from there, it was like he got suspended. I can't remember exactly
Mm-hmm.
what it was. I think it was PEDs.
Yeah.
And then it just like, seemed like he was like atrocious. He pitched game 1 against the Phillies in 2010. And I forever to this day wonder why he was the guy who pitched game 1 because he pitched half that year.
Yeah.
It's just,
Mm-hmm.
man. Yeah. Pat, imagine picking Hamilton on that 2010 team. He was an American League MVP in 2010. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. All right, Ben. Well, before we start talking more, go down this bad rabbit hole of bad Reds trades, I just have to ask you a non-Reds conversation here and not Ohio State Notre Dame,
Okay.
because we'll be texting about that plenty tomorrow.
Absolutely.
But I don't know if you heard or not. The Los Angeles Dodgers made some moves this weekend. The Dodgers signed not only Roki Sasaki, who was the most sought-after player in probably since like I don't know Otani. It felt like just the way like all the reports were coming out. I don't know, and like his process of elimination was irritating because you just knew what was going to happen, and then they followed that up today and bring in old buddy Tanner Scott, who was really really good also. In his split time last year at the Marlins and the Padres, and this brings up a deep question, and it's a conversation that everyone's having right now.
Mm-hmm.
Have the Dodgers ruined baseball?
It's really hard to watch. Now, I can't. Here's the thing: I can't blame a team for spending money. Like
Not
I
one
just
bit.
won't. Yeah, I just
Right.
won't. I mean, if you're willing to spend that kind of money and build your team and do all the things that you need to do in order to win, more power to you.
Mhm.
Um, the so I can't be mad about it, but it's I don't know. Like it's just a weird thing. Like the competitive scale of baseball, is it truly competitive when people can go out and spend billions? I mean, literal billions of dollars on 5 or 6 contracts. And then there's other teams that can only spend what, 60 million, 50 million.
Mhm.
for a contract. So how is that competitively fair for either small market team? Now, granted, there's no salary cap, right?
No, that's the whole
There's no
conversation.
cap. So I it's just a weird anomaly. You know what I mean? Like I can't fault the Dodgers for it, but it's just I don't know. I like when you see them make these moves, you're almost like, okay, where does it end? Like where does it end, and when does it stop being competitive for other teams? For you to go out and do all those different things and make all those moves and spend all that money, and honestly, it's voodoo economics, right? Like
Yeah.
you're spending money and you're saying, "Hey, I'll give you 2 million this year, but I'm gonna pay you 942 million over the next
Right.
65 years." Like it's just I don't know. There should like I just don't like the way they're able to scale the because honestly, you're scaling the contracts. That's not the way you should be able to do it. Like you should be able to have to fulfill somebody's contract within a certain amount of years of their contract of their years played. Because you defer all this money. I mean, you're just putting it on somebody else that you probably won't even own the team anymore. So
Yeah.
like it's just not right. There's got to be some kind of way to do that. Like I'm not mad you're spending the money, and honestly, you're not breaking the rules because there's really no rule to it. So I'm
Yeah.
not mad about it, but it's and the way they do it is just insane to me. Like I just feel bad for teams that can't spend that amount of money because everybody's kind of looking at them and going like, what are we supposed to do? Like, how do we compete with that?
Right.
Unless you're a another big market team or you're a team that like if you're the Yankees, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Go blah
The
blah. But
Mets.
the Yan-
Yeah.
but the Met, the Yankees, the Mets, they can do that. They have big markets. They've got big TV shares. They get all this money. They got 9,000 owners. They can do that. But like, you know, I got Magic Johnson in here making freaking baseball trades. Like, what the heck? And now he's kissing Jaden Daniels and freaking Washington Redskins. I'm like, Magic, do you just own everything? Is that what we're doing now? Like, we just between Starbucks and teams, like you just own it all. Like
Yeah.
you put, so
Magic Johnson and Shaq are the most genius athletes of all time. Michael Jordan
oh
will be
yeah,
on too, but like
yeah. I mean,
those four
it's
dudes
yeah, not even close,
figured it out.
not even
Yeah.
close. They figured it out. Like they understand that their brand as people, as a person, is so big that that anybody, and Tom Brady's getting the same way. Anybody's going to bring them to the table and make money.
For
Like,
sure.
like if I say, "Hey, I want Shaq to endorse blah 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 blah," psh, great. You give me this cut. I want this part of this blah blah blah, and I'll sell your foot cream. Shaq's foot cream. Here you go.
Buddy,
Like,
he's selling printers.
yeah. I mean, this guy's selling
Printers.
printers, Papa John's pizzas, icy hot. Um, you know what I mean? Rose Sparks. I mean, he's doing it all. Like how can you hate on it?
So I genuinely agree with your take. I think your comments make a lot of sense. I think that they're great for baseball. I think we need this empire that we hate. So, what
Yeah,
made baseball super fun in the late 90s, early 2000s, right? It was,
yeah,
damn it, can someone just beat the Yankees?
yeah, yeah.
And it made baseball fun. I mean, we love the 2004 Red Sox because they figured
Yeah,
it
they
out. They
they
found a way.
figured it out. Mhm.
And I don't know if someone's going to find a way against this team because, good Lord,
Man,
who do you,
man.
when they turn the lineup card in and it's like, oh, Mookie Betts just has the day off today. You're still like,
It don't even matter.
you're like, do I can't walk all 9 guys?
Yeah, it don't
Like
even matter.
who's their worst position player? Will Smith? He's really good. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Jeez, please, that's dumb.
but and also on the pitching side, it's like, who do you get a hit off of
Yeah,
consistently?
just think if Shohei can pitch. Like if
Right.
Shohei can come back and pitch, like my gosh, like just insane.
Insanity. But I don't necessarily think it's bad. The Yankees obviously did this, and everyone's okay with it. Um,
Hmm.
what made the NBA so fun after the Cavs won the title in 16? The Warriors go get Kevin Durant. We have someone we
Yeah.
gotta like. We have the big bully. We need to attack and find a way to beat.
Yeah.
Um, but it's gonna be interesting to see if teams can find a way to compete with them. I don't think it's going to happen, but um, there are teams also who have done a really good job besides the Dodgers, and I think that's the
Yeah.
thing is we keep being pissed off about the Dodgers, but if the Reds were doing the same thing, we'd be having a
Oh,
field day on this podcast every week.
yep. Yep.
Yeah, let me ask you, like, if we had a Dodger, like, do you think Mookie Betts is like seeing these transactions come through and he's like, "Damn it, we're just getting all the best players. This is stupid. This sucks."
Oh
No, he's
man.
like,
Nah,
bro.
he's
He's like,
yeah.
yeah. He's like
Licking his
living his best.
chops.
Teoscar
Yeah, he's
Hernandez is
licking
going
his
to make
chops.
22 mil. He's going to be like their fourth outfielder.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
But you're right. I mean, yeah, if it were my team, I'd be stoked. So, you know, good for like I said, good for them. I mean, there's no rule against it. There's
yeah,
no cap. There's no like so, good for them for spending the money and doing what they had to do to make sure their baseball team stays on top. And now it's up for the rest of us to try to figure it out.
yeah. And I do agree. I mean, you've made the point. Josh has said it. Mr. Juan's saying it here in the chat. The deferred contract thing doesn't
Yeah,
seem right. That
that
doesn't
just
seem
that's just like voodoo. Like I said, it's voodoo economics. You're buying something now that you really can't afford. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So like,
Kerry called it the credit card team. Like, it makes a ton of
yeah,
sense now. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
we talked about that last week a little bit, Mr. Juan. I did with Joel Lookup. If you want to check that out on the Riverfront Red Show, which I have no idea how I'm deferring two shows right now, doing these right now, but we'll figure it out. Um, but yeah, man, I figured we would just kind of deep dive on that. So, all right, let's end the show right here with legit stakes for tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm probably doing this against my better judgment. By the way, the Buffalo Bills beat the Baltimore Ravens tonight. So take
Oh, they
that.
did. What was the final?
27-25.
Oh wow,
Give me a
27-25.
give me a Bills Commanders Super Bowl that I won't watch, but I'll be like, that's neat.
Yeah. Oh gosh, Bills command. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Maybe if they were the Bills Redskins, maybe. But
Yeah, that feels very 1992.
yeah, I was going to say, give me John Riggins and Jim Kelly and all the nostalgia.
All right, so in the slight chance that my guys come out and win this thing tomorrow night, are you comfortable coming on the late night Reds in the near future wearing a Notre Dame sweatshirt?
Oh yeah, yeah, I would do that.
Okay,
Yeah, no doubt.
yeah,
Yeah, no
and
doubt.
I likewise, I would have to buy one, obviously,
Yeah.
but I do believe that I think it's a fair wager, and
Oh,
it's one I'm not
absolutely.
embarrassed about because look, even if Notre Dame loses tomorrow, they won.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
this is awesome.
absolutely.
I'm so
Yeah.
happy. I've had so much fun. I watched Rudy the other day for the first time in years.
They say he's a terrible human being, but
Buddy, I said it in my story. That's all about it. Sean Astin is a better Rudy than Rudy.
then Rudy. Yeah, yeah. That's definitely yeah. We'll definitely do that. And in turn, if by chance my team loses, I'm okay. Like I don't want them to lose, but I like Marcus Freeman.
Mhm,
I think Notre Dame is a really good football team. Like
mhm.
I don't have anything really negative to say. Now, if it were like Penn State, I'd be like, oh man, like I
Yeah.
hate that
Smoke 'em.
Joker. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, let's go get him. But no, I have we've talked about this before. Like I have the utmost respect for Freeman. I think he's done a tremendous job. Like I said, he's made Notre Dame cool again. And by all the things that he's been able to do and bringing some, integrity and toughness back to that team. And it's been cool to see him do that. Now, I hate that he has to play my Buckeyes, but if they were playing anybody else, I'd be rooting for Notre Dame by 100 for sure.
Yeah. And that's what I say. Like, I'm one of the few people who doesn't root for Ohio State, but doesn't hate them.
Yeah,
Um, it's hard to not like this team when you watch them line up and they have like Emeka Ibuka, Cardell Tate,
yeah,
Jeremiah Smith, Travion Henderson, Matthew Judkins. And Will Howard's basically Riley Leonard anyway. So it's like,
Yeah, they are. They're one and the same.
yeah,
They're definitely doing the Spider-Man meme. They're looking at each other like, yeah,
yeah.
I know how you feel, player.
But it's hard to not watch them and have fun. It's just sucks
Yeah.
that, like, yeah. I mean, if Notre Dame played Texas, I would think Notre Dame would beat Texas for sure.
Oh
This
yeah,
is
yeah,
like, can Notre Dame drag them into the deep waters in the fourth quarter and make it a fight? Then they have a chance.
yeah.
But doing that is a lot easier said than done.
Right.
I'll tell you what, though, I do really like the fact that Notre Dame was like, we're not changing what we do. Like, we're really good at it.
Oh
So
no, I listen. Teams only get to where Notre Dame is at by trusting what they do. Like
yeah,
like you don't get to where our teams are right now by changing up everything you do now. Notre Dame does what they do. They're physical. They run the football. They play really good defense. They go man to man. They make sure they say my guy's tougher than your guy, and this is how we're going to play. And I have, like I said, I've got the utmost respect for them. I think that they've done a tremendous job, and you know, I think that it's going to be a better game than what people are trying to say it's going to be, because I think Notre Dame's going to they're in for a dogfight. I mean, there's no question, because
yeah,
Notre Dame has played everybody tough that they've gone against, and they've played them the exact same way. They've beat them up physically. They've done everything they've had to do. They've turned everything into a rock fight, right? Like, they're not going to just outscore people 60-0. So you got to have rock fights. You got to dirty it up and muck it up, and that's what they're going to do.
yeah. So I can't wait, man. No matter what happens, I'm excited for it. It's gonna be fun. So I look forward to seeing you in green next week.
Yeah, I
I
got one. I got one for you. I got one
yeah.
for you.
Yeah, I saw you were in Columbus. You took a picture of the Nationwide building yesterday. So,
Yes,
um,
sir.
but hey, Direwolf, thanks for that. We actually are wrapping up, but I will for sure get to Antigua next week because I did look at his numbers, and they're really really good numbers. So I do want to talk about him for sure. We'll probably do that a little bit on Thursday as well. So hey guys, thanks for hanging out. This is a lot of fun tonight. I know we're gonna keep this positioning going. Next week we're getting to catchers, and I cannot wait to talk about Tyler Stevenson's All-Star season coming up. I
There
am
we go, baby.
super stoked for it, man. But on behalf of Ben Brown, this is Tim Daniel. On behalf of everyone here at the Riverfront, thank you guys so much for everything. It's a lot of fun. Enjoy the week. I don't know what the game plan is going to be this week for Riverfront Red Show. We'll follow up. And then I know Seth and I will be doing Welcome to the Jungle at some point this week. Probably talk about Al Golden taking the Bengals job after tomorrow. So
Ooh.
a lot
Hold
of
on.
stuff.
Yeah, really quick. What do you think about that? 30 seconds.
I hate to lose him at Notre
Yeah.
Dame, but I'm happy he's going to my NFL team.
Yeah.
It's a weird,
Yeah.
it's bittersweet for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he'll do a really good job. I think that he's proven that he could take a good program and do things with them that they're not used to doing and make them successful. Notre Dame has
1000%.
never Notre Dame has never been a man team. They've never been a team that's blitz. They've never done the things that he's been able to do with them, and he's done a tremendous job. So should be good.
Yeah. Carrie did ask this real quick. I know we're trying to get out of here. Yeah, we know Grady and Ray.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we know them. Good
Yep.
dudes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Have a good one. We'll see you next week. And we're getting closer and closer. Baseball season's just around the corner.
Absolutely.
See you, everybody.